No females.
How'd you get the student?
Make a motion that we approve the March Airport Advisory Board minutes and also the February 26th county meeting minutes as written.
You have a copy, Mr. Enzo?
I got what you sent me on the. Oh,
You got it this time?
yeah.
Okay. Some of it?
We also have claim ordinance that Angela crosses.
Oh, I don't have that.
Did you want me to print you off one?
Yes, please. Not right now.
You should have updated. Did you republish it?
I'll second that, including the claim ordinance A01-022.
Councilor Panzer has made a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the approval of the March Airport Advisory Board minutes for the March 2024 meeting, the February 26th City Council meeting minutes, and the claim ordinance 801-0224. Councilor Renard has seconded that motion. Any concerns?
Kelly will add in that additional executive session to our February 26th minutes. Sorry, I just didn't get up that they were timely. We went back in for just a few minutes.
All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Bye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Next item on our agenda, petition and obligations. This is for all comments. Please state your full name and whether you're an Elton City resident. All comments are limited to 5 minutes per subject unless city council has further questions. Is there anybody who would like to approach? Come on up.
My name is Deborah Brown, and thanks to Don Panzer, I am now living in Ellsworth full-time. We met 20-some years ago,
Yes.
and the town and Don was so welcoming. So I saw a problem now in the town.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You've really touched my husband in my life, so it's great. There's a cat problem in our town. Anybody else think there's a cat problem in the town? I'm trying to set up a TNR, they call it, trap and release. I need to get help with the committee. I've talked to Angela about all different ways to raise money and different stipends and things to help raise. I will help out as much as I can. I've been doing some research on it. I'm a retired veterinarian. My husband's a retired veteran. I'm a tech, he's a veterinarian, sorry. And so we just need to do something. Last year, I saw so many kittens. They were going along and they were dragging a leg. It just killed me. I raised 2 of Joni Glazer's kittens that a hawk ate the mother. There's one male can breed lots of females, but one female can have anywhere from 3 to 7 kittens. So you have 10 females doing this. So it's really more important to catch and release the females as we get them. But it's the funds. And I've talked to Cheryl Taskin, and she's with the Kansas Humane Society, and she's given me a couple different things that we could possibly do. Again, I can't do it all myself though, so I need help from the committee and anybody who can help out. But, there's just, we can't let these animals keep suffering.
Yeah, one thing that'll, what's interesting is I wrote 3 articles for Karen, and the 3rd article will come out. That was one of the 3 things that I listed as we needed help with, volunteers, and there are other people, so it's just a matter of getting everybody that wants to do it together. You know, I've been approached by several people, but I don't know, does anybody have any other insights into this, Dustin?
Aside from the research I've done, I would like to work with you if you don't mind. If you can grab my card off the table, we'll start
Okay.
putting something together, because I could use help.
Okay, and the other thing is, I've had a previous stroke, so I can look at you, and next week I won't remember you, but I'll remember what we talked about. So just know that I've got a little communication problem.
If you want, we can give me your contact information.
Okay, do you want it now? Deborah
If you're
Brown.
willing to give it to me,
Yep.
all right,
Deborah Brown,
okay.
phone number is 303-525-5295. Everybody's welcome to get that. And my email is deb67439, no idea where that came from, @icloud.com.
We'll be in touch and we'll start
Okay.
working on this.
And what-
You're not the first person.
What they did 20-some years ago in Florida, they notch an ear. So if you catch something and it's got a huge notch in it specifically in a certain area, then they know they can release them, so you don't have to try to go through it again. But,
So
yeah,
are you saying like somebody, they get fixed ever, because that's what Wilson used to do, they have
Spay,
a
neuter,
retired vet. Yeah, you could trap them and then the retired vet there would spay or neuter them and the city would,
okay,
he would pay this, he would do it and then they would notch their ear and then
Right.
release them.
is he still doing it?
I don't know, he's been working a lot more like filling in, so I don't know where he
Right.
still is, but that's what they were doing for a while.
That Dave Sells.
Dave Sells, yeah, that's what
Okay.
they were doing was catching, like.
My husband would love to be able to get into a facility. He can do neuters. He's got early Parkinson's. So would have problems doing spays and keeping on track. I've assisted, I know sterile techniques, I know all of that, so if anybody knows. But in Florida, they brought the numbers down within 5 years.
Well, I would love to work with you and
Okay.
we'll facilitate.
Very hard.
Please.
Thank you,
Okay,
Deborah.
thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, Deborah.
Anybody else want to approach and have 5 minutes? Come on up, yes, ma'am.
My name is Michelle Circus. I'm actually here in my capacity as the board president for the Child Care Center. We're putting in 2 sheds and we wanted to know if you guys would waive our permit fees. They're 2 8-foot by 8-foot sheds. They'll either be on gravel or cement, depending on what the contractor dictates that we need to do.
I think that'd be fine as long as they're on the setback of the property line.
Yeah, they'll be on the back, on the away part by a fence. Primarily for keeping equipment and things like that, outdoor things.
I'll make a motion that we waive the fees for the Ellsworth Child Care. Their 2 sheds.
I'll second.
Counselor Panther have made a motion to waive the fee for the 2 sheds for the Elwood Child Care Center. Counselor Hanson has seconded that motion. Any discussion? Debate? All right,
Sheds being locked.
They will be.
I know there's been a few occasions where they've had some issues with that in the past, so.
Yeah, they'll be locked and the fencing is locked and then we're actually having a new security system installed.
you got it covered. All right, any other questions, concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Anybody else like to approach and for petitions and delegations? All right, moving on, unfinished business, Kirkland Michael update. John, come on up.
Good evening, council, mayor. Got a lot of projects finished up, so my updates are getting shorter. That's a good thing, getting things done. The neighborhood multi-use path. If you haven't been down south of town in the last couple of weeks, that project is completed. The dirt work, seeding and erosion control's all been installed. There is the drainage, there north of the Good Sand. The city is interested in looking at a different option by putting a culvert underneath the sidewalk there. We produced a drawing for that modification and submitted it to the contractor and asked for a price. I'm not aware that we've gotten anything else yet from the contractor. Certainly as soon as we get that, we will pass that along. As far as the resurfacing of Douglas, still haven't received a firm date from the contractor when they plan to start that project. Late start date is July 8th, so they got time, and we'd like to obviously see them get started sooner than later if they can. No update on the sanitary sewer at 421 West 11th. Everything that we have has been submitted to the Department of Health and Environment, waiting for them to review. It's kind of tricky since it's a sewer line, but the real issue is proximity to water lines, and KDHE has a sewer division and have a water division. So we gotta have them both review it, and give their input, and the water division has been taking 3 to 6 months typically on anything we send to them. Unfortunately, It's been about 8 months now since we turned that in. I'm working on a cost share application for Third Street once again. That's coming up, to be due to KDOT March 21st, so just about a week away, week and a half away. And then, nothing on CCLIP applications, but then as far as, other funding application, I'm working with Dustin on the, federal Safe Streets and Roads for All to develop an application for that program. The city was not selected for last fall. It actually has, in the notes that says due April 4th, there's actually 3 different dates are allowing submittals. April 4th is the first one. So you want to think in May and then again like in August for this year. And that's what I've got for this evening. Good. Have you entertained any questions?
I have a question. Have we made our final payment on this project yet?
No, we have not.
Okay, I wish that we would hold that. My concern is that there was an engineering error on the sidewalk and the drainage, and that should be the engineering firm expense. City of Ellsworth didn't have anything to do with that. You guys designed it, it backs up the water, it's on you guys. So I suggest we withhold payment until it's fixed correct.
Yeah,
Don't you?
I'll go with you on that, yeah.
Okay,
I would ask to clarify which payment are you referring to, contractor or
our final payment on the project.
to Kirkland Mine?
Yes,
That's fine.
okay, but I want, is that your expense to fix that sidewalk with that drainage in? You guys are the engineers, we won't. You designed it that way, you oversaw it, you knew the water would back up after you seen it. Why should we be liable for your guys' mistake?
The
Have you ever
dispute,
been, huh?
the dispute I have with that is that the project was reviewed multiple times with the city. And there was never any dispute against it during the.
Well, the funny part is, are we engineers? Are we supposed to take your,
How would we know?
how would we know? We pay
We need
you.
to hire another engineer to,
Yeah.
watch you guys, or? What do you do?
Listen, guys, it pools about 3 inches of water after significant rain and it dries up in a day.
Okay.
In my opinion, that's an aesthetic indifference to certain individuals.
Okay.
And we're soliciting.
As far as I'm concerned, it's your problem, fix it.
Yeah.
We didn't do it. I'm tired of people coming back to the city, in my opinion, this is my opinion.
Oh, it's my opinion too.
Yeah, we made a mistake. We're gonna bill you $7,000. Did you come back earlier and want some money for out there too on some concrete that wasn't done correctly?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, I think I heard.
We're not asking for anything.
Yeah, but you're gonna bill us for that, aren't you?
No, we're not.
On this
The
sidewalk?
We're
engineer,
not billing you anything.
Okay, what about the
All of the
overhead?
construction cost goes through KDOT.
Okay,
Kirkland Michael's not billing you anything for that construction. We've asked for a price from the contractor to remove 5 panels of concrete, place a culvert in there, put those 5 panels back.
at no expense to the city?
I don't know about that. That'll be up
Okay.
to KDOT if they're going to.
Well, and then I reverse back to you guys. I wouldn't hold any payments until that's done to our satisfactory and the city's not billed for any updates on it or. No, that's the way it's gonna be.
That's your opinion. There's the rest of the council. I guess they can chime in on that.
Yeah. I'm in on it if you want to.
What I think we gotta do is, you guys need to be, you really need to kind of go through the whole project and, you know what I mean, John, and just let them kind of dispute item by item, and you have some chance to do your background, and, you know, Don may very well be right that, hey, we're not gonna pay for that, or, you know, sometimes these things, there's a lot of nuance to them.
We do meet.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor.
Right, I'm sure, but I would say clearly at this point, I
I
would
just,
be,
I just want to get nipped in the butt.
Sure.
Or go to the,
right.
does anyone else want to speak up on their thinking of it? What do you think, Aaron?
I think if you were gonna have John here, you would have to have a representation from KDOT here in order to have that conversation.
Okay, anyway, that's my opinion. It's just my
that's
opinion.
my opinion
It's
too.
legit, yeah.
I have a meeting with Carlton on Wednesday to discuss some other items. Do you want me to, I will bring this up with him.
Yeah, we might give them an award for Creasy Park too.
Yeah.
Anything else, John? Yeah. Okay,
That's what I'm gonna say.
all right, well, you, okay, yeah, well, thank you, appreciate it. Okay, anything else for John?
So as soon as we get a price from the contractor, we'll
Okay,
sit it on and see if KDOT's willing to participate in it. It's still their project.
okay. All right, thank you, John, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on to case number 2023-02090 North Colorado Street.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself, I'm sorry. There's one in front of you, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm
Get your
on.
steps in, Steve.
I got a couple items, and I'm interested in that Colorado Street, I'm like, what is that? So, discussion decision with insurance renewal presentations, so what was that?
Lucas Vardas just presented, Mr. Mayor, Lucas Vardas just present the two quotes that I included and
Okay,
answer any questions, and I'm asking for council's guidance on which one we're going to go with. If you're willing to do it, there, but the renewal is April 1st, is when I can get it. Y'all are comfortable.
As you guys see in your packets, the quote from Continental Western, they split up the fire department, that's why you see two Continental Western quotes. And then I have EMC on the renewal. Continental Western, we have had some changes since I sent those out. We added the weather system monitor and then a new vehicle. So I mean, these premiums are very close, but keep in mind, we'll be adding $200,000 and coverage for the weather monitoring system. I guess I'll start with the Continental Western one. Since that is our cheapest, that is $149,294 for the year. EMC is renewing at $181,000. And so a little background on Continental Western, they're owned by Berkshire Hathaway, a very solid company. They recently got back into the municipality game in Kansas, 3 years ago. They had it where you had to go through a general agency the first year, and then last year's the first year they opened it up for all the agents. Had really good success with them. I have the city of Canopolis with them. Great coverages. They'll do, in addition to everything that we have added on to the city, they also throw a blanket of $300,000 into property in the open. So like cover your fire hydrants, park benches, street lights, stuff like that. Anything that, you know, you don't think of when you're insuring stuff, it kind of has a fail safe for us there. And then it also has the similar property enhancements as EMC, so 50,000 for accidentally omitted buildings, stuff like that. One deductible if something happens, so if we have a big storm come through, cars, buildings get hit, you know, they're not gonna ding you for that second deductible on the vehicle, so just ding you for the one on the building and then pay for everything. The only difference between the Continental Western EMC is Continental Western, due to the previous cyber claim the city had, they don't want to go very high on the cyber liability limits. They're capping us at 250,000. However, I do have a workaround with this. I can get you guys a standalone cyber quote up to $1 million in coverage on that. I think we would still be money ahead versus the EMC policy. I didn't know if, I guess, one more thing I'll highlight on the Continental Western is, the fire pack is insanely good coverage. If somebody were to die fighting a fire, we'll give their family 10 grand right away. And then guaranteed fire equipment replacement is huge. We have it rated at $772,000 right now, but say costs go up within the year up to $1 million, they're still gonna pay you that $1 million to get you back where you were. And so that's one of the highlights there. Commandeered property up to $1 million. So if you guys have to move a combine or something like that in the event of a fire, we'll cover that as well while you guys are moving it. And then also if anything were to happen, like say firefighter flies out the door, leaves his stove on, we'll pay for his homeowner's deductible if there's a fire. So got a little bit of coverage there even, so. Does anyone have any questions on the Continental Western? And one thing I did want to touch on as well is they do, the wind hail deductible is 10,000. EMC came in with 75,000 and they were playing rate wise, but I got them down to 10,000. That way it was apples to apples. Reason being for the rate difference is EMC's been in Kansas since the 80s with their municipality program. They insured 99% of the cities. And so with all these storms we've had, they've been taking a lot of rates, or they've been taking a lot of losses on their property. And so that's why you see such a large rate difference between the two quotes. But other than that, coverages are pretty darn near the same.
I think if the coverage is pretty much the same, I'd go, yeah, see.
That would be my recommendation too, I mean, but obviously up to you guys, so. EMC does do the dividend, and last year's dividend was 18,906, but coming down from 181, that's still is nowhere near the 149 that Continental Western's coming in at. They don't do the dividend, Continental Western doesn't do the dividend, they just give you the premium savings up front.
Yeah, there's 32,000 difference there.
Yeah. So, I've had great luck with Continental Western, paid out on a building that wasn't even covered in comp list, so. Very solid company, and, again, owned by Berkshire Hathaway, so I'm assuming just about everybody in here also has their stock in their 401k, so.
So do we need a motion for you to proceed? That's good, or?
Yeah, because this is a contract, so, we just need, what I'm looking for is which company do you want to go with, or which quote you want to go with.
Yes. So what is writing here?
Would you be surprised if the dividend would be as nice this coming year as it has been in the years past?
I mean, EMC as a whole has not been performing well. I don't know if you guys heard of the Atwood School fire last year, so yeah, they've completely backed out of school districts now, like no new school districts. And so, I mean, they're not trending in a great direction property wise, but that doesn't mean their municipality program doesn't, perform well. It's been pretty solid the last couple of years, but 22 and 23 were kind of unprecedented property years, so can't predict that unfortunately, but it's been pretty solid, like, let me see here. So yeah, last year, like I said, 18.9, the year prior was 18.6, and then 20 to 21 was 17.9, so I mean, we're in that $18,000 range, so I don't foresee it getting bigger than that by any means, so.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to select the CWG insurance quotes as presented by Lucas Bed and Copeland Insurance Agency.
I'll second.
Counselor Hanson has made a motion to approve the EMC contract. And,
The CWG.
okay, the CWG contract, and Counselor Johnson has seconded that motion. Any concerns about this contract? Any more details maybe fleshed out?
Oh, yes, I do have one more detail,
Go ahead.
sorry. I'm so sorry. So both companies are putting an actual cash value valuation on roofs 20 years or older. And so that's something that's new for both companies, so. But a lot of your roofs that are older are metal roofs, which not gonna get replaced unless they're ripped off anyways, so. That was, sorry.
That's okay. No. All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All right, on to case number 2023-02090 North Colorado Street. Steve, come on up.
Wait, go back.
This is in regards to the petitioning, declare this building a dangerous structure. This is the old CK mill, which was built in 1900, as near as I can find. It is owned by a couple in Phoenix, Arizona, Robert Y. and Bella K. Shalamov. Earlier last year, weeds and grasses became an issue. I sent a registered letter, which they refused to pick up. I then sent them a second letter, January 26th of this year, or actually, yeah, it was postmarked January 26th. This invited them to this meeting to discuss this. I didn't really expect them to show up, but I did enter that structure a while back. I've got pictures. I don't know if you've seen them or not, but it is dangerous. At the time I went in, the hatch that had the padlock on the front door had a nail stuck in it. If you pulled the nail out, you could just walk in the building. There's gaping holes the size and diameter of this circle here, where they took tanks out going up through the floors. No guardrails on the stairs. The place is full of raccoon stuff. And there's just, there's rebar sticking out, there's cables hanging out. It's nasty. So, I did replace the hasp, and put in some 3.5 inch torque screws into the wall to hold that in place, so they're not gonna be able to just pop it out. But, the place is dangerous. According to the appraiser, taxes have not been paid on that structure for at least a couple, if not 3 years, including last year. So, I'm not sure what we're gonna do with it. It would take a small thermonuclear device to destroy it.
It was up for sheriff's auction.
It's very well built. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to bring it up,
Yeah,
this is something that, you know,
90 North Colorado. It's just right over here.
yeah, I mean, I'm glad because we might as well just kind of think of the hospital and that at the same time, you know, it's a dangerous building.
I'm just thinking, we can't afford to tear the hospital down.
Right.
If we can afford to do this.
That's right. We're gonna have to think about it, yeah.
Well, that's true. At this point, we can, but
Be
we
thinking
need to
about
go through the process.
Right.
So that we can do it when we get there. So, yeah,
it.
that's what we're
You know
doing.
what they paid, well, that's probably not our business, but they paid some money for that. They bought-
Yes, right now, the current value on it is about 29,410. That was what it was appraised for in 2023.
30 grand, yeah, so I thought.
Yep.
You couldn't tear it down, tear it down.
Oh.
So what do we need to motion to do here?
What we're gonna do now tonight is to
Or do we need to?
pass a resolution that would have we're gonna go and start the process like we did with the last time I was here, where we'll put a notice in the paper and then we'll invite the parties to show cause that it's not a dangerous structure. And after we get twice posted in the newspaper and they receive registered letter on that, then we can declare it a dangerous structure.
We need to just make a motion to hold the hearing then, right? Is that?
Right now, we're we're just petitioning for this hearing, yes.
I make a motion that we hold a hearing for condemnation of the property at 90 North Colorado Street.
I'll second it.
Councilor Bernard has made a motion to hold a hearing for the condemnation, scheduled condemnation of 90 North Colorado Street. Councilor Panzer has seconded that motion. Any discussion, any concern? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
I had a question for Steve, guys here. I noticed I talked to Dustin and you talked to an individual on Albert Street last week.
Yep.
Nothing was done all weekend.
Okay, he called me, actually called me on the phone Friday night and told me that that would be gone by the end of the weekend. I do know that the whole rear end of the vehicle has been taken out
Yeah,
and he's replacing it.
it's up on Jack's.
Yeah.
Situated right next to your lawn.
Yeah, it is up on jacks, but the reason is you can't jack it in the back because there's no axle.
Mhm.
So it looks like he's replacing the whole rear end of the vehicle. As far as I know, I mean, he told me that it would be out of there by the end of the weekend. So I wasn't at work today, so I'll check on it tomorrow night.
But it's still there.
All right.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, next item, purchase of 2 fire hydrants from municipal supply.
Mr. Mayor, permission to speak?
Go right ahead, yeah.
Thank you. This is just me on a campaign to continue to replace leaky fire hydrants. The 2 came in over 10,000, so I'm requesting permission to purchase them. We got from 2 vendors, this is cheaper. I got a other expensive vendor in my office if you want to see it.
Fire hydrant double.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 fire hydrants from Municipal Supply Incorporated for no more than $14,000.
I'll second.
Councilor Bernard has made a motion to purchase the 2 fire hydrants from municipal supply not to exceed $14,000. Council President Coates has seconded that motion. Any questions, concerns? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Next on the agenda is the street closure application, exclusive use of Priester Park for the Cowtown Festival. I think we have some folks here to come on up and explain, and then Dustin will add a little bit of information and we'll go from there.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Absolutely.
It's my first time doing this here at Ellsworth, so I'm gonna defer to the council and let you ask the questions that you deem appropriate. And we'll go from there.
So Dustin, you had some concerns, you wanna start?
Yeah,
with?
and Jeannie has been very easy to work with. I've been very appreciative to her because we had some concerns and, as I gave you in my email, she shot me an email today just outlining that, our concerns, the committee already confronted a lot of the concerns that we had on the staff side. So thank you for that. I don't know if you want me to rehash it or not, but our first concern was parking and traffic management. And she said, the committee reported that they have designated the area behind the clamshell performance stage for handicap parking only. Volunteers will be positioned in the area to direct traffic flow and assist anyone who needs help getting seated. Parking, directional signs, and volunteers around the park will direct traffic to available parking options located at driving range, old hospital, and private property. The old hospital is private property. Do you have permission from 1886 investments?
I didn't know who to contact.
I gotcha.
David and I were discussing it.
All right.
So, can you email that to me?
Yeah, we do have their contact information. And the Sons of the Legion will provide golf carts to take people from parking spaces. So I really appreciate you for covering down on that was something we were concerned about. Y'all were on top of it. Residential.
Concerns to get folks in and out of the parking, from parking to park as quickly as possible to alleviate any traffic congestion. Anyone of an adult age that may or may not be able to move from parking from the distance to the park anytime in fashion.
There's also the lot down behind A1 welding where they cleaned up 50% of it. I don't know if we talked to them, they might let us use that for parking too. You know what we're talking about, on the low road, Canopolis, we call it the low road. You go down, what is it, 3 blocks?
Becoming a local, Jimmy.
And then, on the left-hand side, there's 3 big lots through there that are vacant now and been cleaned up that could probably be used for parking.
Okay.
I won't guarantee no flat tires. It's an old salvage yard, but they have really,
Oh, I know what you're talking about, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
that'd be something to check into, really be close.
And you say that A1.
A1 welding, you talk Bobby Coyce.
Thank you.
So the other concern that I had, or there's several, but the resident notification and property security, like Third Street has to remain open because
Right.
that's an emergency route.
Right.
The committee, but I did like, she told me this stuff before I even brought up other things, but so y'all covered a lot of grounds. Thank you. The committee will go house to house the week of July 2nd to hand out flyers and to notify residents of the schedule of events, road closures and access routes.
July 22nd.
Thank you.
Did I typo?
No, I misspoke.
So it's a week prior, we will go door to door from 1 block back so that the noise may impact more than 1 block, but I feel like we're obligated 1 block out. Past that, the traffic flow will be open and they can move accordingly. Again, that's just what we've planned. If there's something that needs to be adjusted or discussed, we're open to that.
Okay. Temporary fencing will be placed around the park to provide security for residents' properties. I appreciate that. And security will be provided by Fred Smith for the event.
Right.
Okay. Ordinance wise, what we wanted to point out is 2 things. One, what I would like from council to help approve this event is to approve, I've got a schedule that she sent me in your packet that I gave you. Right now, parks are first come, first serve, and she's requesting, the committee is requesting use of the park all 3 days during those times. And I just wanted to formally request council's permission to reserve the park for these events. So I would hear whatever you, that's the first thing I need to help move this project forward. And then the second approval I would need is, the police department did point out the curfew for the park. And so I'm also requesting council to provide official approval to extend the park curfews because ordinance actually is pretty specific about.
Whether they got extended too.
Movie night is till 11, Saturday activities is till 11.
And that, just to clarify, the activities will be wrapped up between 10:30 and 11. So the event itself will wrap up. There may be some disbursement of people from the park, so that, I thought about that afterwards. There may be 30 or 45 minutes after the event shuts down for people commuting.
Yeah, so till midnight, because there's also the youth curfew that ends at 11. So, I would just request council approval for exceptions to policy for those. Just so that I can move forward with the approval of the event. Those are the two legal conundrums that I need your guidance on.
Make a motion for us to approve this is the exemptions for the Cowtown Committee on their welcome back y'all celebration.
I'll second that.
All right, Counselor Panzer has made a motion to approve the two items that Dustin's requested was approval to use the park for the 3 days and to change the park curfew as an exception. Counselor Nart has seconded that motion. Any discussions or concerns?
Yeah, are the bathrooms and the splash pad gonna be open, or are we gonna have those locked?
That's coming down the lane.
Oh, okay.
That's something I need your guidance on, or what we want to do.
And there's alcohol served there? Yes or no?
We'll have a beer garden provided by Coors Distributing. They will staff and distribute alcohol, but it's a fundraiser for them. For Friday night, there'll be a beer garden. Saturday night, there'll be a beer garden and a VIP hospitality suite. Again, staffed and managed through the distributing company.
Good.
We'll
And
also
the
get
fence-
liability insurance and event insurance that includes the use of alcoholic beverages.
Is it fenced?
What is it called? The orange webbing? Is it
No,
rose? What is it?
Snow fence.
Okay, yeah, so we'll wrap up the size of the event and we'll have notification signage indicating that nothing can be brought in from the outside and nothing can be taken from the outside in, or inside out.
Looks like you got it under control.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or concerns?
The bathrooms, they are adding 4 portable bathrooms in addition to the ones we have at the park.
So to answer your question directly, yes, we're asking for the existing restrooms to be left open. And then we'll bring in 4 additional porta potties if the other
So then
side.
our city employees get responsible for cleaning those?
Volunteers will manage that, but I don't know specifically.
We haven't hammered that out yet.
I would think you could work it out for somebody to clean that. I mean, I don't see why our staff should be. Well, so I don't think, because a lot of times the lifeguards have to go clean the bathrooms and the water and that splash pad. I don't really think it would be fair to
No.
do that and then send a kid from the pool down on a Sunday to clean the bath. I don't think that would be okay.
Okay.
I have to agree with you.
Would the
Sorry.
Cowtown committee be willing to clean the bathrooms first?
I mean.
They can do it. This
Kind
is-
of crappy deal with it.
I so noted.
I think I start Dan volunteer for that.
I'm always hungry.
Our city clerk's off that week.
Our city clerk is hosting the musical talent for that
Yeah.
weekend, so.
So any other discussion for the motions? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Opposed? All right, motion carried. Right, thank you.
The splash pad is the last thing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
We are requesting that that be left on as it is noted as a family event. However, we're not asking it to go on after like the concert takes place or the movie begins.
So just during normal day hours?
Correct. For the most part, the movie night, at dusk-ish is when the movie itself starts. So the splash pad should be closed prior to that, as well as the concert, which is really depicted as an adult activity. We don't need the splash pad left on after that.
Would, is your insurance application aware of the use of the
Yes.
splash pad?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
For you. Thanks. A couple items real quick.
Yes, sir.
For Karen. This year, we're not gonna be doing. Yeah, not gonna be having a parade. John, you're here too. One of the reasons we just don't know about the resurfacing, so you don't have to worry about that. I mean, we just thought, you know, if we get this thing planned and then all of a sudden there's equipment everywhere and when are you gonna be done? We're just like, hey, you know what? We got enough to do just having a concert. Let's just have a concert this year, we'll do the parade next year. So
There's
that's.
a parade that morning in Marquette in case anyone really needs to go.
There you go.
Marquette's 150th is that same weekend, and there's a parade that morning, if you need a parade.
There you go. So there you go. So now, took your project under consideration.
Dan, I know you used Kansas Avenue in years past and I had to do the same thing. Just,
Yeah, well, we hashed that out, the different routes, and we just
Yeah.
threw something in it.
Yeah.
We already had something going on downtown and. So, very good.
And the biggest concern, aside from the construction, is we didn't want the parade competing in the morning, competing with the retail activities. The biggest concern in the past is that the parade negatively impacted the retailers during that period of time. So they've stepped up and created their own committee to establish the Vintage to Vibrant days that will drive more traffic to the retailers during the course of that event.
So next year, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, so that reminds me, so, one of the hangups, or one of the, if I were to enforce the ordinance the way it's written, each individual, vendor would have to pay $25 to get a license from the city clerk. And, I've had a lot of pushback from economic development on that particular rule. And so, I wanted to ask what your guidance to me is for this once a year event, how you wanted me to handle that, because if I enforce it the way it's written, I gotta make every vendor that participates in the event, and there's a fear that that'll scare some of them away.
My opinion is it's a community event, celebration, why charge them to come to our celebration?
Okay, and that's matches her opinion, so I'm just requesting exception to policy because the way that I
I'll make a
interpret
motion,
that.
exception to policies that we waive the fees for that day for the vendors to.
That's the Vintage to Vibrant, right?
Yeah.
No, like like the vendors that are setting up
Yeah,
the park, right?
definitely.
Want to discourage them.
I don't disagree, but I was nervous or the way I read it, and I wanted to make sure. Yeah.
All right, Counselor Panzer has made a motion to waive the vendor fees for Cowtown Vintage to Vibrant, the whole 3-day celebration. August 2nd through the 4th, right?
The Vintage to Vibrant Days takes place exclusively on Saturday.
The 3rd.
The 3rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Will there be any vendors in the 2nd?
No.
So the 3rd and 4th, will there be anything?
Any
on the 4th?
vendors that may occur on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the afternoon will be at Prisco Park.
Okay, all right,
And
That's
those,
what he was talking about.
all right. Okay.
and those vendors will be in adjacent to sponsorship packages. They won't be just selling vendor spaces to any potential vendor. They'll be strictly a part of being a sponsor.
So we're waiving vendor fees for Pritzker and Downtown, right?
Yeah, fees, but do you want them to register still? Or do you want me to just forego the entire requirement for this event?
Will they have to register through the Cowtown committee?
Yes.
You
Yeah,
can,
they'll know who, like, could with the Cowtown committee, if you.
Economic development is handling the downtown
and
I feel like
vendors.
Patrick has something to say.
I was gonna, at the appropriate moment, just check and see if you guys are waiving just the fees or the entire registration requirement.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm clarifying.
Because there is, the whole theory of this is just to have some knowledge of who's there, if it's something unusual or unusual happens. I think the fees initially are just there to help staff time with processing them, but obviously for a special event, even staff time happens sometimes, but just, Sergeant White and I were asking, we're wondering if you guys are on. Well, I'm sure staff can probably coordinate with the organizers of it, just to make sure everybody's insured or accurate.
Well, I'm sure you could give me a list of all vendors, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I did have a conversation with Stacy about it on Friday, and she said she would provide them to us. We won't need them.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah,
As long as they collect the information we would want for the registration process or.
I think the whole purpose is to have unusual, so here it comes. Here it comes, so. We got a motion from Councilor Panzer. Any other discussion? We want to second.
I'll
that?
second.
Councilor Coates has seconded that motion. No other further discussion. All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? My motion carries, most of those fees to be waived, and send the registration over to the city. And so the police
Yeah, I'll-
department has
I'll
knowledge of
communicate
who's
that
here,
to Stacy.
yeah. Thank you, Jean, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yes. All right, discussion decision on a city of Ellsworth issued citizenship civics award. This was inspired by Wayne leaving after service for 8 years and, you know, the ethics of providing a gift with public money is not gonna work. And just handing the $7 piece of paper is not really at a level, you know, that somebody that served 8 years. So we're gonna begin the discussion of, you know, what do we wanna do? And so Dustin, if you wanna go ahead and share your ideas, we'll go from there.
I just threw something together, you know, in other words, I got borrowed it from somebody else who had a similar program. And, so it's just a matter of you can either formulate a committee or you can award it as a body. I like the idea of a committee because it involves citizens as well as council members and maybe a staff member too, you know. There's a number of ways that council could choose to do this. I just wouldn't put the
Yeah.
process that I got from somebody else down on paper.
Yeah.
Start the discussion.
Either way, I think that, you know, recognition is free. We're not talking about money. And to be able to put your heads together and really think about who that person in town is that's given back a lot would matter. I know it's something that I would want and probably a lot of other people would cherish too. And you know, it's all part of driving voter participation and people wanting to run for office and, you know, this whole cycle that we're in, we've got to kind of keep working to break it. And, you know, I figured the first two that would be eligible without even any question would be Wayne and Melissa, but, you know, just wanted to throw it out there to council, see what they thought.
I don't have any problem with the recognition. I do have a problem giving extra gifts or benefits because for the last 40 years as I've lived here, it's been the norm to give employees or people that retire city identities. And you might open up a bucket of worms if you start giving cash or prizes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if legally we could even do that.
Right, this is just.
Yeah, so I say,
You are the best.
Yeah.
Here.
I have no problem with that, but I do not think the city needs to get involved with giving a $50, $100 gift or something like that. Have your appreciation day and they can have the free identities to the city and basically,
Yeah.
that's where it stops.
So it's basically, it's like a certificate.
Well, more than that, I mean, they have an award, you know, whatever, whether you want to give them a medal or a trophy
Plaque
or.
or something.
Or it just could be verbal. It could be like, you are that person, you know, Stacy Schmidt is
I
that
think
person.
it's appropriate, it's very
Yeah.
nice to do that.
But it's voted on, it's thought through, and eventually you gotta come up with criteria, right? It can't be a popularity contest, it's gotta be,
Exactly.
you know, like, look what these people have done, and, you know, sometimes we get a little bit negative, we think about the people who are doing nothing, what, right? But there are a lot of people who are doing something too. So it's just a chance to say, look at this, you know, so.
Annually.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, once again, that's open for debate, we do it annually, every 2 years, you know, probably annually, because it would come up pretty quick.
And it would be presented at a council meeting.
I think so, I think it's something we control, yeah.
I was thinking of maybe a dinner or something, just a small get together at the 900 room or something, you know, to honor a small
Yeah.
group of people, if you.
Yeah, something like that.
To add to the
So
special.
we're not talking like one individual, we're talking like a group.
Well, there you go,
That's one idea.
yeah, I mean, it could be, you could say, yeah, you could say,
Probably make it whatever you wanted it to be.
right. I mean, it could be an organization, they all get that year.
Okay.
I mean, think about it, I can name some names, like, oh yeah, that person did do that. We forget about those people all the time.
It'd be a compliment for me. Really good compliment.
Yeah, Russell just did something like that. It went over really well.
Yeah.
I mean, we could keep discussing, I don't know that we have it pinned down to where we could say, this is what we're gonna do and let's vote on it. I mean, do you kind of have a direction to go with it? that you can-
Yeah, well, sort of, I understand the concept,
I like the idea of committees too.
yeah.
It's not just
Yeah,
us,
just-
we get
yeah.
some community buy-in.
You can proceed with that and see what you come up with.
Okay. Well, I've already got a somewhat process developed.
I am a little bit concerned about must be residents of the city of Ellsworth.
I do count.
I like that, but if we were talking about like an organization, there's organizations that do a lot for the city, but maybe not everybody. Yeah, like
Sure.
I'm thinking of like
Yeah.
a Girl Scout troop
Yeah.
or like a 4-H club or something, or some other sort of civic organization, like maybe not everybody lives in the city or.
Or if the Shalimars come back and fix up the mill, there you go. They're in Arizona, wouldn't be giving you award for that, you better believe.
Hang on to that award, because you know
They're getting an award. We would give them that award, like, hey, thank you for being a great citizen, but I'm serious. So that would be an instance where an out-of-stater that really stepped up for Ellsworth would be like, we can give them the award. You know?
People were really hospitals.
Yeah, so they.
Maybe
Maybe
that's a whole challenge too.
No, no, days turned down, they kind of ended before he goes office, it's crazy. So, okay, so we'll move on, so, you got a little bit of a direction, we can kind of bat it around a little bit more. One of those things is kind of simple, but it can be complicated if you're not careful, so, on the department heads, we've got, looks like Dave is back there, do you want to come on up, Dave? No, okay, all right, Jeff, did you want, Officer Wagner, did you want to come up?
I think we should.
Okay, all right. Steve, is he still here? He left, okay. Anyone else up there that, no, that's it, okay, moving on. So city attorney, did you want to come on up?
I can't think of anything. I talked to Dustin a lot, but less last week than the week before. So, Dustin, is there anything that, do I have anything that I need to talk about? I can't think of.
No, not at the moment.
No executive sessions there.
I would like to request one.
Oh, okay.
Not elected?
Yes.
Okay, do corporate, yeah, I agree. Okay, we'll talk to you then, Patrick. City clerk, anything?
I have some exciting news for my office. Mandy Sesmat is back full time.
Oh.
I'm super excited to have her back. It's gonna make a lot of room for us to really progress and do things the way we really want to do things in a very efficient, effective way. So I'm super, super excited to have her back. So if you see her, welcome her back. She's been here for 15 hours a week, but she's now back full time. I don't think I have anything else. I just wanted to share that exciting news.
I don't know if everyone realizes how important you girls' or ladies' job is down in Spring. Because the main contact the city has with the public are you four gals down there. And when you come in, you're nice, you're polite, you're smiling, you're not chewing their butts and stuff. And that is a bond between the city and the patrons of the city. And continue the good work, because I think you girls are doing an excellent job.
Thank you. I
You bet.
appreciate that.
It's real important.
Thanks.
Very good. Anything else?
Am I getting too much?
No. Justin, you have anything?
This week we're starting, valve maintenance. I joined them for a couple of maintenances just to watch how it was going. So we're gonna continue to do that throughout the week. Tomorrow we have the prison, which is my main concern. I told the assistant warden, Mr. Castro, to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. The hope is that we exercise those valves and it'll be completely aesthetic. That nobody in the prison will realize that we're doing it. But then I also told Mr. Castro, I'm preparing for the worst. I've got rural water that's gonna be on site, all hands on deck. I advise the water crew to have some, the parts ready to go in case it happens. So, the hope is that they're prepared for both, but, it's an essential piece of getting back to my mantra of fixing things and, maintaining our stuff. So I'll be probably presenting a bill to you in the next couple of weeks, or not a bill, but a request to purchase some additional valves. Because there's already one in front of the high school that I know is broken. We just happen to pull one up and water's coming out, so. That's why we picked this week as opposed to last week to account for the, spring break. So, but we're gonna continue to do the little wins, replace fire hydrants that we know are leaking and, work on, the other thing. So on the eighteenth, is council still willing to meet us here next Monday for, as for the budget calendar to discuss personnel costs and CIP? Or if that date doesn't work, can you give me a date that we can? Because that's, I think, a very important part of the budget process is to get the staff directly in front of you in a casual environment where we can just have some honest conversations about the condition of where we're at. So the budget calendar schedules the eighteenth, but if that doesn't work, is there a date that will?
What time are you thinking?
Next council meeting.
When I discussed that in December, a lot of you felt like you didn't want to couple this discussion with the council meeting, so the feedback I got was, to have an open conversation on a night where we didn't have any obligations. Outside of just discussing the budget.
You said the eighteenth
The eighteenth is what we scheduled originally in
of
December.
March.
Yeah,
At 5:30?
yep,
What day of the week is that?
Monday, next
Monday.
Next Monday, okay.
and we were gonna do it at the Rick Center.
Can't make it, but you guys can roll out. Does that be at 5:30? That's your thing?
Yep, I'm a creature of habit, so.
Okay.
It's at the rec center.
Yeah, and we'll have food.
You bring our desks and you can.
That's my, that's my thing to say, Callie, organize food.
I wasn't gonna say no. But it's my intention is to just connect you with our staff so that you hear directly from them what their concerns are. And I'm gonna present to you, or we've already got the CIP done. Callie and I are about done with the personnel worksheets. These are planning documents, they're to be changed. But it's just to discuss where I propose the city is going in each department and where the departments feel they need to go, what resources they need for 2025. And that'll help us determine whether we need, what we do with the R&R. This is kind of a really big discussion item for us. So 18th is good for everybody? Okay.
All right,
I'm good.
okay, thank you, Dustin. How do you?
No.
All right, Justin.
No.
All right, Aaron. Don.
Yes, I do, please. First of all, I want to congratulate Dustin. We did receive an airport grant of $675,000, job well done. And I also see where we got other grants in line for the fire trucks and everything else being processed. So good job working on that. It's pretty easy when you get $675,000 to pay your salary every year. You know. So anyway, congratulations for all the hard work and the girls that helped fill out the paperwork.
Yeah, I couldn't have done, I had people help.
Yeah, there's more than just one, but you're the boss and you got it taken care of. Okay? The next thing is probably going to disturb some worms. I've had a lot of people get a hold of me during the week and ask us to consider the housing deal up on where the old playground used to be, or the old ball. And my feeling is that the more I talk, and correct me if I'm wrong, you talked to the county appraiser and he said that would not affect the rates, appraisal rates of the houses around that, because of that type of housing that it is.
Yes,
Duplex
ones are two,
rentals.
ones are one.
Okay.
They have calculation, based on what I was told, they have calculations on individual
And
properties.
then all their parking is gonna be off street, right?
Based on the current design, but that's, you direct him on what.
Okay, well, I've been a resident 41 years. We had baseball fields there, and then we tore down the concession stand. And then we had soccer games there, and they moved all the soccer out to the armory in the center. And is the city gonna keep paying to mow that when we could use that lot to generate more housing and not be a kick in the face to Cashco, the prison, and different people that's wanting us to supply more housing? But if we don't, and our economic development or our housing authority association went out of their way to go down and see this guy's production, what he has done and made of himself. And then they voted, and for us to say, we don't care what you think, we don't want to do it or do want to do it. I understand Tyler's position. He's not here. Yeah, he,
Everybody I've talked to where I live says they don't want it.
yeah, see,
So
so.
you guys live up there, we live over here, that's.
But anyway, we're talking about parks, so. Yeah, yeah.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
I want to.
It'll turn into that.
Anyway, that's good. As far as the parks, we've got the swimming pool, there's the playground there, we've got Creasy Park, Creasy Park. We got the water park and also the grade school that the kids could use on weekends and evenings. So as far as extracurricular activities and parks, I think we're in pretty good shape. And that's got something almost for everybody's park in town. So I don't want to actually make a motion or anything unless we need to, but I'd like to kind of see us pursue that and get some type of a verbal commitment from him, what he's willing to do for the price of the lot or with the utilities up there. Not to say we're gonna do it or not do it, just to know exactly where we sit. And you guys have a problem with that.
Here's what I
I'm
think.
not for it at all.
Right. Here's what I think.
So.
We've learned this year, we got some issues that we are never gonna agree on.
Oh,
Like, we're gonna, like, there's no way, there's certain things we're ever gonna agree, but I think this is one that we can kind of learn as a council to say, all right, we've got two that just don't want it. Is it worth the three to overpower them? I don't think it is. I think the direction we need to go, and I hear what you're saying.
Sure.
Is that we've got to find a property we all agree on. You know, I mean,
This is the.
because I think
reason he
these two
wants
just
it
don't want
Because
it.
it's the easiest, it's the cheapest for
Right.
him to develop.
Yeah. And I'm
It's
not
not
saying,
like by the hospital where you could start putting that stuff out there.
yeah.
Well,
I'm not saying
so-
100% for it. I just want to look at all the scenarios to see what the cost would be or the benefit to the city. Because we just.
But I think if you talk to being this Brad, I mean, at the prison can't not get employees because there's no housing.
Yeah.
The prison can't get employees because that age range, and I'm not saying all of them, but 18 to 30, maybe earlier 18, they don't want to work. Nobody wants to.
That's- Great Plains is the same way.
Nobody wants
I
to
know
work.
somebody up there that.
Nobody wants to
Yeah.
work the night shift and nobody wants to work the evening shift and we want weekends and holidays off and we want $55 an hour.
And look at the convenience stores, same thing.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not saying that we don't need housing, but the problem is that we're in this 18 to 30, and I would say it's more the lower end of the 18 that they don't want to work hard enough. I mean, that's the thing. The prison can't not get employees because there's not housing. They can't get employees because nobody wants to work. Then when they want to come in at $50 an hour, they want 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. They don't want Saturday, they don't want Sunday, they don't want night shift, they don't want evening shift. So, I mean, I'm not saying we don't need housing, and I'm with Tyler. These people that want housing, do they want an apartment complex across the street from their house?
Sure, that's why I brought this up again tonight.
That's my question.
To see exactly where they are, but I like Dan's where he said, we're all adults here, there's no use getting a fight over it, just whatever we think's better for the community, and we've got.
And
other
my
problems.
question,
We got other
and the
problems.
long-term question I have is, okay, this guy, it sounds all fine and dandy now.
Yeah,
But I'm not saying he's old, but he's probably closer to getting ready to get out of it. Yes,
he's
he's
not
got
as old as
sons.
I am.
But what I'm saying is, what if his sons don't wanna do this? Then you sell it to somebody that's gonna half-ass take care of it, and then the city, then it comes back to the city because, oh, you sold that property, and now we have, half-ass taking care of apartments.
Yeah, I think the solution is that we all want housing, we're hearing that. They and the folks in that area do not want to develop that, we brought it up twice. It's like, why keep hitting the dead end again and again? It's like, I think the three of you aren't passionate, like, I gotta have that property. I think what we need to do is just get a property, what's the cost for utilities? What can we all agree on? Then bring David back and say, all right, David, this is what everybody wants to develop and go from there where everybody's happy.
And so you know where I stand is, I was asked by 3 or 4 people if I would bring it up tonight, and I did.
Sure.
And I'm pretty well gonna agree with Darcy and Tyler
Yeah.
that it's not worth the trouble and animosity of the city patrons to do it.
And
Let's find a lot that everybody can agree on.
And I said, I'm not gonna fight about it either. If it passes and the three of you passed it, so be it.
Right.
But can I guarantee you that I'm not gonna sell my house in a couple of years when I get my kid out of school? No, I'm not, I'm serious. I'm dead
Right.
serious.
But I think you represent those folks there, and that just isn't the right property now, it's just that, go ahead.
Permissions. There's a couple of things. One, this is a policy decision. I'm not engaging in that, but conceptually, if housing is our goal, then we have to increase more housing lots. And we have to work with economic development and our community to do that. That's point number one. Point number two, we have to also increase our current housing stock. That's not my opinion, that's just in statewide. The other thing that we can do is we can also adjust our zoning. The problem I have with R1 and R2 zoning is it's very restrictive to what people can do with their lots. And one way you can approach this, while without giving up that lot, is we can have a discussion about how we can alter our zoning laws to, actually make it a little easier for people who purchase something to have a little more flexibility in what they buy. My personal philosophy is I don't want to be an HOA. I want to guarantee the safety of the structure. So, if someone wants to put a tiny house on there, I know it's controversial, I'm not advocating for that, but this giving ideas, for ways that we can provide some more flexibility for people to purchase homes where it's more attractive to more bigger groups of people as opposed to just targeting R1 here, R2 there, types of things. So there's a lot more to the housing issue than just Avon Prospect. I think I would like to have a policy discussion to broaden that discussion. How do we want to solve housing?
But you got the town halls coming.
That's what I was gonna.
Yep, and
Are we still
that's-
doing those?
Yeah.
Not that I need to know that.
Because now you're gonna hear, oh, but they all really want this other property, and all the
Yep.
five of us are like, yeah, what's the cost? Let's start to do the research.
Okay.
Yep,
And let everybody get behind it instead of fooling with this one property that we're just, we can't just, nor can we just go, okay, in a few years, Tyler and Darcy are off the council, maybe that'll work. No, because somebody else will get on council and they don't want it. That just seems to be a property we just can't agree on, So-
yeah,
And I've had other
there's three other
neighbors-
properties.
I've had
that
other
are
neighbors, just not Darcy. I've had other neighbors from that area tell me they did not approve of the idea either. And I've had other people on this part say, I do approve, the city needs to do something. Well, I agree, but maybe not that lot, let's look at some other lots. So, yeah, I think we're all in agreement on
Well,
that.
it's
We're all adults.
not a, most of the stuff will be a city owned lot anyway, it's gotta be private
Yeah,
people, okay, I mean.
we can disagree and walk outside, go upstairs, there's no problem with that.
Yeah.
I got one more thing then. I'd like to start looking into the idea that we're gonna have sewer fees and we're gonna have water fees coming up with these improvements. Maybe we could have a town hall meeting of some type in a city, because I'm wondering if the patrons of the city would rather see the cost of the sewer and the cost of the water put on the cost per thousand, or would they just know where they're at with their budget, have a set fee on the meter for the new treatment water plant improvements and a separate fee on the sewer, like $5 here and $5 there a month on the meters? I don't know what the community is best for the community. I think we need to maybe send a questionnaire out in the or something like that and ask the people what they prefer, or have a town hall meeting. Because I can
I
remember,
would do both. I
I
think.
can remember 23 years ago or 25 years ago, when we built a swimming pool, we decided not to raise taxes for the pool. So, hey, let's just put $2 on everybody's water meter charge, and that will pay for the pool. My phone rang off the wall, people complaining about that. Hey, we're mad. My God, my grandkids aren't gonna ever come back and use that pool, and stuff like that. Well, what's the fairest way and what is the best way for the people in the city of Ellsworth that want that to happen? Because ultimately, it's gotta be paid for. What's the best way to pay? And that's, seems kind of like I'm overstepping my bounds, but on the other hand, we're gonna have to pay for it somehow.
Yes,
So that's where I am. So you can maybe send something out in the water bill, or we could have a community meeting.
I would probably do both, just
Okay.
to try to catch as
What do
many
you guys-
that
You
opinions
guys
as
think that's,
possible.
yeah, we need to have some guidance, what they
Yeah.
are. Because if we all say yourself, oh, we're just gonna put $5 on the water bill and $5 on the sewer bill, your phone's gonna ring off the wall. But if we get the community involved and the consensus is this, we do it, That's gonna save a little bit of ass chewing.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, okay, that's all I got.
All right.
Can you believe it? That's all I had.
That's good. That's a good pickup because that was something we needed to talk about. Darcy, do you have anything?
No.
All right, I guess the only thing I want to talk about is, Cowtown support it, people that want to volunteer, I think that, they got a great lineup. They're gonna learn a lot about music and distributors and it's gonna be very different. I think it's just gotta financially survive. I mean, I think that's the big thing. You've got to drum home to people. They're gonna wonder why is it so different, all of that, but you just have to take them back the last couple of years and say, look what they've been through, just to get something out there that'll survive and can have as much of the heritage of the town as possible, and to kind of build from it, so, as much as you can talk it up and, get people to come out and enjoy it would be very helpful, so they work really hard, that's a talented group, but they still need probably to double in size to become sustainable, hoping that as we get closer to the event, some people will join. And if they see that it's gonna become successful, they'll go, okay, this is something I wanna be part of. And then we'll be able to say, okay, we've got something that we can have year after year, so. We did talk about, armbands and just trying to know how many people are gonna show up, we have no idea. So we could have 200 people there and it's raining and it's a dud, that's an easy thing to secure. It could be, it's all hands on deck and it's like, people are coming. Cause these musical acts are really good. And the thing is that they've got their own following. They don't care about Ellsworth. They're just coming to see these musicians. So there's gonna be that group coming too. We're not used to that, so.
And I am bringing them into Sandstone Saloon next Saturday.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
we'll have, and they're staying with me this weekend, so, and during Coaching, so.
That's Kelsey Lamb?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So-
so, yeah, she's the first
The
act
first act.
on Saturday.
And her husband.
So they've got a local following,
They-
right? They got quite a local following,
Yeah.
so she's the first act, and the second act, he was in The Voice, or?
No,
She was-
she
she was
was
the one.
on national, America's Best Songwriter, or America's Best Song Contest or something like that on NBC or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what she's on, I don't know, I'm her friend, I don't follow her directly musically, I do, but I'm more
Right.
friends than.
so we'll see,
So
yeah,
anyway, she's
Yeah.
great, but I would encourage everybody to come.
Yeah.
That's my little plug for my friend, but you know.
right, so it'll be different, and then have a distributor there rather than, I think before it was Drovers Hall of Fame. These people are paid to sell alcohol, so we gotta really keep all that in mind, and we'll see what happens, but I'm just gotta be real responsible and look after each other, I think it'll work out fine, so.
Gonna have any whiskey?
No, I mean, there's a lot of talk about hard liquor and, there's gonna be a VIP area and just that hasn't really been developed, so.
There's gonna be some Red Bull there, everybody's gonna have 4 legs.
Yeah. A lot of, they did a great job. They've really done, they're really good about getting focused on everything. Like that costume contest is gonna be fun, but it's easy. Don, you go out and you get a costume, we don't have to do anything. So that's why we decided on that, have the kids dress up. We just stand there and they come in. We're not doing the work. So even that was a really smart decision, different things like that. So anyway, that's all I had. We need an executive session, for how long? For who?
5 minutes.
All right, 5 minutes, non-elected personnel to include the city attorney, city administrator, council. Yeah, all right.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss matters of non-elected personnel performance, to include the governing bodies, the administrator, and the attorney. Will come out as.
All right, Council President, have a motion to go to executive session to include the city council, the mayor, city attorney, city administrator, to start at 6:44 and to end at 6:50. All right, opposed? All right, motion carries. Every time. Is it like?